Alrighty, so like I said, today's our review day. The big part of this test, you're gonna have to find the surface area of solids and the volume of solids. Okay? So, for numbers 1 and 2, what are we finding? What is it telling us to find for numbers 1 and 2? Surface area. Okay, so surface area tells us we're finding the area of all the sides, adding them up. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 1. Okay, I'm gonna split this up into all the sides. It has the one that I think is the easiest to find, just the rectangle shape on bottom. Okay, we know that to find the area of that rectangle shape, it's going to be length times width. What is my length and my width of this rectangle? What am I gonna use?
11 and 5.
11 and 5, beautiful. Okay, so the area of that little rectangle shape is going to be 11 times 5, which is going to give me 55. Okay, then I need to find the areas of the triangle sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the area of the bigger one first, the one in front. Okay, so remember the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, so I need my base and my height for this triangle. What is my base and my height measurement here? Kaylee?
11 and 10.5.
Ooh, not quite 10.5. That'll be the height on the side ones.
9.3.
Beautiful. Okay, so the area of this guy is going to be 1/2 times my base, 11, times my height, 9.3.
It's gonna be 51.50.
Okay.
Times 2.
So 0.5 times 11 times 9.3, 51.15. Okay, but then how many sides of those triangles do we have?
I made this mistake.
4.
Well, not 4, because they're not all equal.
1.
Just 1 in the back. So we have 2 sides. So then we're going to multiply that guy by 2. So 51.5 times 2. Okay, so the area of the front and the back, 102.3. Okay. Now let's go ahead and find the area of the 2 side triangles, the skinnier ones. Again, I need my base and my height here. What is my base and my height for that triangle? Donovan?
5 and 10 plus 10. 5 and 10 plus 5.
You got it. 5 is my base and 10.5 is my height. Okay, so remember the area of a triangle, 1/2 times my base, 5 times my height, 10.5. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that into our calculator. I got 0.5 times 5 times 10.5, 26.25. But again, I have 2 of those sides. So I'm just going to take that 26.25, multiply it by 2. So I got 26.25, then I multiplied it by 2 for the 2 sides, and that gave me 52.5.
Which is fine.
Okay, now what do I do with all 3 of those measurements that I just found? Add them up. Okay, so I had 55, 102.3, 52.5. It's going to give me my entire surface area. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that up. So I have 55 plus 102.3 plus 52.5. Now I get my entire surface area of 209.8. 209.8 what though? Talking about area.
Kilometers square.
Nice.
I wrote an A instead of a 0. I was like, that doesn't look right. Maybe because it's not.
Beautiful. So remember, surface area, find all the areas of the sides, add them all up. Alrighty. Okay, now on your assignment and on your test, you're going to see a formula. You've already practiced it a couple times. Okay, and it says that the surface area is 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times, what do I have? Width times height. Okay, so when you get this rectangular prism is what we call it, like the box shape, on your assignment and on your test, it's giving you this formula. Okay? And instead of finding all the areas and adding them up like we've been doing, you could literally just plug the values into this formula and then punch it in your calculator and solve. Okay, so for example, if I want to find the surface area, I would need 2 times my length and my width. Okay, let's do that first. Let's identify what these are. What is my length? Just identify the length of this box.
It's length. Oh,
No, 6.
6? Sure. We'll make 6 our length. What about our width?
10.
10? Sure. What about our height?
12.
Good job. Okay, now that we identified everything, our length, our width, and our height, let's plug it in. So the first piece is length times width. Okay, well that was 6 times 10. Okay, plus, and in fact I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna do it down here and then we'll just add them all up. 2 times length times height. Well, my length again, 6 times my height, 12. Just gonna give me something. And then I have 2 times my width and my height. Well, my width is 10, height is 12. Multiply all those guys. Figure out what we get. Okay, so let's take the first piece. 2 times 6 times 10. What's that gonna give me? 2 times 6 times 10, or 2 times 60.
70.
2 times 60.
80. This is
120?
26.
What the heck? Why did I write height for that guy? Whoops. That's 12. Yeah.
I can see
I
why
wrote
we're
H.
so confused.
I wrote H instead of height. Alrighty, cool. So now that I figured out that the 12 is actually our height. Okay, so now I have 2 times 6 times 12.
272.
Ooh, 2 times 6 times 12, 144. And then 2 times 10 times 12, 240. Okay, so we just plugged things into that formula that it's given us. Okay, now what do I do with all 3 of these measurements? Add them up. Okay, so I got 120 plus 144 plus 240. And I get my total surface area, which is 504. 504 what? What are my units?
Square.
Yes, it's going to be squared. What squared? Feet squared. Or square feet. There we go. Okay, so that little formula that's on your test and your assignment, just use that. Plug in your length, your width, and your height for these rectangular prisms, and then you're good. Alrighty. For numbers 3 through 6, what are we doing? We're not finding surface area anymore. What are we doing? Finding the volume. Okay, or in other words, like how much space is within these solids. Okay, so let's go ahead, look at number 3. Tell me, what shape is number 3? It's a sphere. Okay, so let's remind ourselves the volume of a sphere formula that never changes. That's what we love about formulas. 4/3 pi times your radius cubed. Okay, so we only have to identify one measurement here, and it's our radius. Okay, so given this sphere, what is our radius? Thank you, sir. What's our radius of this sphere?
10.
10. Easy peasy. Okay, so now I'm just going to plug it in. I have 4/3, which I'm going to put parentheses around. Show you why when I punch it in my calculator. Times pi times my radius, 10 cubed. Okay, the reason I put parentheses around that 4/3, because when I type it in, parentheses, 4 divided by 3, or 4/3, pi, 10 to the power of, little caret button, 3. And it's going to give me my total volume, which is a big number. That's okay.
It's gonna be a funny number.
Let's round it. Let's practice rounding to just the first place. So if I want it the first spot, look behind it. Is this 9 going to bump the 7 up or keep it a 7?
Keep it up.
Bump it up. Okay, so we have 4,188.8. Okay, 4,188.8. What?
Cute.
Nice.
Well, that's
It's a
like a lot.
Big sphere.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
No, this one. It's going to be, the formula is going to be, crap. It has like the divided by 3 though.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. Okay, tell me what shape this is. For number 4, what shape is this?
Cone.
It's a cone.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, the cone formula. Eli, you're absolutely right. Pi
It's as like the
times
cylinder
radius
with
squared times your height, and then divided by 3.
I had the right mind.
Okay. So this time I need 2 measurements in order to plug into this formula. I need the radius and I need the height. It's very important that you know which is which though. Which one is my radius for this cone?
7.
7, good job. That's my radius. And which is my height?
14.
14, how tall it is, right? All right, okay, so for this formula, we have pi times my radius, 7 squared, times my height, 14. Okay, and remember, I like to put parentheses around the numerator, telling the calculator that that's all on top. Okay, then we're going to divide that whole thing by 3. Punch this into my calculator, exactly how it looks with the parentheses and everything. Got.
About the 7 up to an 8.
Let's see if you're right. So we have pi 7 squared times 14, all in parentheses because that's all on top, divided by 3. Okay, there's my volume, kind of hard to see. The 7 behind the 3,
We'll bump
Is-
it up to a 4.
we'll bump it up to a 4. Okay, so our volume 718.4. 718.4 what?
Square.
Inches squared.
Inches cubed.
Inches cubed. Beautiful.
Same difference.
No, it is not the same difference. Squared is like 2 dimensions. Cubed is 3 dimensions. It's totally different. Okay? Alright. Number 5. Ooh, what shape is this? Think they're in Egypt. It's a pyramid, right? So we call it a rectangular pyramid. Okay, the volume formula for this rectangular pyramid is length times width times height, all divided by 3. You guys notice that when it brings it to a point, it divides it by 3? Like a cone divided by 3? A pyramid divides by 3? Yeah, not a coincidence there. Okay, so 3 measurements that we need, you guys. I need my length, my width, and my height. What you got?
Length is 12.
You gotta draw an eye on that pyramid.
Length is 12.
I lied. Never mind.
What is 12?
Height.
Height, right? That's how tall this pyramid is. Then what's my length and my width of this pyramid?
9 and 9.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much when we plug it into the formula, but I mean, usually that little dotted line right there, that's how tall it is, the height. Okay, so let's plug this in. We got our length, 9, times my width, 9, times my height, 12. Okay, and this is all being divided by 3. So everything on top, I put parentheses around. Parentheses, 9 times 9 times 12. Close parentheses. Divide by 3. Ooh, that's nice and pretty.
24.
Beautiful. No rounding required. 324 what?
Oh, feet.
Feet cubed.
Oh.
Nice, okay. And the last shape we need to remind ourselves. Ooh, what is this guy? It's a cylinder. You guys are good. You learned your shapes in elementary school. Okay, the volume formula for a cylinder. Okay, we have pi. Remember, anytime a circle shape is involved, you're going to see pi. Pi, r squared times your height. Nothing's being brought to a point here, so you don't have to divide it by 3. It's just pi r squared times the height.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay, Kaylee, what are the measurements I need?
The R is 12 and the height is 10.
Love that. Okay, I love that she knew that our radius is 12. You cannot mix those two up. You can't just plug in 10 wherever you want. The 12 has to be in the radius spot. So we have pi, 12 squared, that's my radius, times my height of
We
10.
did the exact same thing in CAD.
Pi, 12 squared, times 10. Gonna give me a big number, hard to see here.
Ugly.
Okay, this 9 behind my 8, is it going to bump it up or keep it an 8?
Keep it in.
The 9?
Up.
It's gonna bump it up, right? 5 and above bumps it up. So my volume, 4,523.9.
Cubed.
Mm-hmm.
9 inches cubed. No, inches cubed.
Nice. Inches cubed. Beautiful.
It's a big cylinder. Why
So
would you
volume
use
isn't
cylinder?
too bad, you guys. As long as you remember your volume formulas, okay? All it is then is just identifying what measurements you need and plugging it in.
Why do you need that much, that big of a cylinder?
Don't know. Okay. Okay, for numbers 7 and 8, we're still talking about finding the volume. They're just word problems. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a picture, identify the measurements we need, and then answer the question, okay? Number 7 says, Jen wrapped a gift that was 6 inches wide and 10 inches tall. Okay, no like weird gifts here. What shape can we assume this gift is? A rectangle, like a box. Okay, so I'm gonna just draw myself a cute little box.
Box.
I was never the best in my drawing classes, that's okay. Okay. So it says that it was 6 inches wide. Okay, so I'll just put my 6 inches right there for the width. And 10 inches tall. Okay, so then 10 inches. But then it's actually giving me the form or the volume. We're not asked to find the volume here. It says the volume is 120 cubic inches. It's asking us to find the length. Okay? So it's kind of going backwards here. This is kind of like a solve for x situation.
No solve for it.
So we have our volume, which is 120, equals my length, which we don't know. We'll just keep it L. Why not? Remember, when we don't know something in math, we just use a variable. We'll call it L for length. Times my width, 6, times my height, 10. Watch how easy this is, you guys. So first thing, let's go ahead and multiply 6 and 10 on this side. What is 6 times 10 going to turn into? 60. Okay, so we have 120 equals 60 times L, or 60 times the length.
Oh, it's 10.
This is a one-step equation, meaning there's only one thing I got to do to get L by itself. How do I get rid of that 60?
No, it's not. It's
I do what? I do divide. I divide it, okay? It's being multiplied by 60, so I need to divide it by 60. Okay, well, what is 120 divided by 60? That's going to give me my length. 120 divided by 60.
2.
2. So we now know that the length of this gift is 2 inches. Now, let me ask you, is this inches cubed?
no.
No?
Why is it not cubed? We were talking about volume.
Cubic.
Is it the volume?
No.
No,
we're
it's
trying
just
to find a
it's
L.
just the length, right? So it's just 2 inches. The length equals 2 inches.
Also, they're not cubic all
Steve
square.
has a soda.
No, because it gave us the volume. We didn't solve for the volume. We solved for a missing side. Good question.
Easy money.
Okay, you guys.
What is this volume?
Next question. Steve has a soda can that is 6 inches tall and has a diameter of 2 inches. What is the volume of the soda can? What can we assume like a soda can shape is like most like? A cylinder. Okay, so we have a soda can here. Boop, boop, boop. Cute soda can. It is 6 inches tall but then it gives us our diameter of 2 inches. Okay, let's remind ourselves the volume of a cylinder, pi r squared times my height.
Okay, I have the numbers.
I have the height. The height is 6. But what's my radius? Why is it 1, Jameson?
Because it's half of the diameter.
Nice. My radius is half of the diameter. Well, half of 2 is just 1. Okay, so now I can plug it in. Pi times 1 squared times 6. Punch that into your calculator. Pi 1 squared times 6. And the volume of this soda can, let's go ahead and round it to one place, is the 4 behind the 8. Gonna bump it up or keep it an 8? Keep it an 8. So we have 18.8. Now, what are my units of measurement here?
Inches cubed.
Inches cubed. It is cubed this time because we were finding the volume.
I already nailed that.
Beautiful. Alrighty, guys. Awesome job. Turn your paper over. We'll go ahead and skip number 9, just because of time's sake. Let's do number 10. Okay, so on numbers 9 and 10, these are what we call composite. Okay, it's because we have 2 shapes basically being put together. Okay, so for number 10, says we have an ice cream, has a cone with a height of 10 centimeters and a radius of 3 centimeters. Determine the volume of the ice cream, so the entire ice cream cone. Okay, so there are 2 shapes that we have to find the volume for. First, we got to find the shape of, what is this shape called again? A cone. It's an ice cream cone, right? That's not a coincidence. Okay, so let's remind ourselves the volume of this cone formula. Okay, pi r squared times my height divided by 3 is going to find me, or is going to give me the volume of the cone part, not the ice cream part, just the cone part. Okay, well, tell me, you guys, what is my radius and my height of this cone?
3 and 10.
Good job. The height is 10, which it gives us, but then the radius is half of our diameter, which is 3 centimeters. Okay, so let's plug that in. We have pi 3 squared times my height, and that's all going to be divided by 3. Okay, go to my calculator. Pi times 3 squared. Whoops, I want to put it all in parentheses. Pi 3 squared times 10. That all is being divided by 3, my numerator and my denominator. Okay, is this 4 behind the 2 going to bump it up or keep it at 2? Keep it at 2. 94.2. Okay, I'll put the units on when we're done. Okay, we know that the volume of the cone part is 94.2. Okay, now we need to find the volume of the actual ice cream part. Now, don't think like it's sinking in, just don't overthink it here. What shape are we working with the ice cream part? A sphere, but is it the entire sphere? No, it's only, we'll say half of the sphere, right? It's cut in half. Okay, well, let's remind ourselves the volume of a sphere formula. 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so with this sphere, the only measurement I need is my radius. Again, what's my radius? We already found it.
94.2.
The radius of the ice cream?
Oh, 6.
That's the diameter.
3.
3, good job. Okay, so now we're gonna plug it in. For the ice cream part, volume, I'm gonna do 4/3 in parentheses, pi times 3 cubed. Okay, go to my calculator, have the parentheses and everything. Parentheses 4 divided by 3, or 4/3, times pi times 3 to the power of 3, or 3 cubed. Okay, so that is the volume. So we have 113.1. The 9's going to bump it up. But that's the volume of the entire sphere. What do we need to do with that entire sphere?
Round it.
Divide it by what?
2.
2. Good job. So we had 113.1. Actually, we'll just not even round it yet. We'll just take that whole decimal in my calculator. Just click divided by 2. It's as easy as that. Enter. Okay, is the 4 behind my 5 gonna bump it up or keep it a 5?
Keep it.
Keep it a 5. 56 point, and then we'll divide by 2. 56.5. Okay, so I found the volume of the cone, 94.2. And I found the volume of the ice cream part, 56.5. Remember, we found the volume of the whole sphere, but then we had to cut it in half, divided by 2. What do I do with those two measurements? Add them. Okay, so I have 94.2 plus 56.5.
150.7.
Love it. So the volume of this entire ice cream cone, 150.7 what? Centimeters. Cubed. Nice. We're talking about volume. Beautiful.